What's up, car audio champions? We are back, and this week we're checking out a Stetsom Bravo Bass Flex 8K amplifier. Now, this amplifier has technology that kind of mimics the Teramp smart amps, where it can put out a set impedance, and this one's basically half ohm to 1 ohm. And I've been wanting to try one of these for a while to see, are they better than the Teramps? Not as good? What's the difference? But so here's the amplifier. This is not my amplifier. This was given, loaned to me to review. So, but I did break the seals on the package. So this is brand new how it came out of the package. And decent looking. The finish looks a little bit not as nice as I've seen in the pictures. It looks a little bit chalky on the black. I'm not sure if you can see it on the camera. And there are a few little scratches on it here and there, which is kind of weird because it was packaged pretty well. But we're going to go ahead and dyno this and see what it puts out. You can see on this side we got two big pairs of 1-aught inputs and a remote. And this amp does have dual fans, and they are smart fans, so they're supposed to turn on and off as needed. So here you can see we got double 1-aught inputs and your remote input on this side with the dual fans on that side. We also have 2 fans on this side, so that's a total of 4. You got your 1 RCA in, level subsonic low pass, and your bass boost. And you got large 8-gauge speaker outputs on this thing. Now, one thing I did notice is some of these screws felt cross-threaded. One of them turned smooth, but this one, I couldn't even turn it with my fingers, and it felt like it was stripping out, which is kind of a bummer when you spend that kind of money on an amplifier. But just wanted to let you guys know. But then I move on to this side. Same thing happens. Some of the screws feel like they're cross-threaded. Super hard to turn. So I'm not sure, the quality control is not looking so great. I mean, this thing is almost seized up to where I can't even barely tighten the cable. But also, the other thing I noticed on this amp, the fans are super loud. Very loud fans, and they also make a weird whine that it's not coming through on the video, but it's a weird high pitched like up and down noise. But I just wanted to bring that to your guys' attention. So here's the spec sheet. So it says 8800 watts at half ohm, 9000 at 0.67, 8700 at 0.8, and 9000 RMS at 1 ohm. So we're going to start with the 4 ohm test. They don't give us any readings, so I have no clue what this is going to put out. But I know on the Teramp Smart 8, it put out about 4700. So this should put out similar to that at 4 ohm. But we shall see. And definitely not 2691 certified. Huh? At 4 ohm. Now this stops basically when it hits 1% THD. Definitely pretty far, man. That's not a good sign so far, but let's try uncertified, see if it can do a little better. Again, my Smart 5 does 3600 at 4 ohm. So I was expecting this to do a little bit more at 4 ohm. Yep, not much more uncertified. 2,727 watts. The efficiency seems really good, but definitely the 4 ohm, it's not putting out the power. Let's go ahead and hit it with some dynamic burst and maybe see if that can, if that'll change a little bit. Definitely not what I expected or hoped for on this amp. So, well, let's see if it does any more dynamic. And it's not looking like it. Wow, it's a little disappointing. I'm gonna be honest. Like I said, my Smart 5 bass puts out about 36, so I was expecting more. But let's go ahead and try the 2 ohm test. And again, this is certified, so this stops when it hits 1% THD. So this is basically max ultra clean power. We didn't really get any specs either at 2 ohm. 4729. That's not that great, guys. The My Smart 5 bass does 55 at 2 ohm, and the Smart 8 does like 85. So, little disappointing so far. Not sure what's up with that, but maybe that's why they only put the half ohm and the 1 ohm ratings, and I never see Stetsom do any dynos other than 1 ohm dyno. So maybe this is the reason. Let's see if we can squeeze a little more out of it uncertified. This is max power all the way up to clipping. Not looking good. The efficiency is really good on this amp, and I'll put a chart up later, but the power, man, definitely is not doing that great at 4 and 2 ohm. 4,761 watts. Let's hit it with some dynamic, see if that changes. Some amps do a lot more dynamic. This one seems to be pretty even keel, doing about the same power across the board. Yeah, just a tick more. 4,886. Okay, we got 49. Wow, that's not good, man. I mean, when you run a sub in a car at 1 ohm, a lot of times you're going to be at 2 and 3 ohm. So if you're buying this 8K, you're really going to be with impedance rise basically getting like a 4K. Okay, so here we go, moment of truth. Let's see if it can actually do what it's rated at 1 ohm, which they give you specs in the manual, so maybe it'll do it at 1 ohm. Maybe that's why they do not give you any 2 or 4 ohm ratings. Maybe that's why Stetsom on their YouTube videos, they never dyno amps except for 1 ohm, at least the ones I've seen. Okay, so we still didn't make it. We're close though. I mean, 74, 72. And again, the efficiency looks real good. I'll put a chart up at the end, but still falling short. Let's go ahead and hit uncertified. You guys will have to let me know what you think, but so far, I mean, I've had a lot of tear amps, and personally, I take a tear amps over this any day of the week. For one, the build quality issues on this amp, and then the power output. Both are better on the tear amps. I hate to say anything bad, but so again, we didn't make it. Barely 7,600 watts. Uncertified. Wow. Usually, guys, I get stuff and it turns out pretty good. So I don't mean to complain, but I got to be straight up with you guys too. You know what I mean? So there, dynamically, it did hit 8K at 1 ohm. So 8,060 watts dynamic. And since this amp is half ohm rated, let's go ahead and proceed with these half ohm tests. So there you go. 9,941 at half ohm. Problem with that, again, is impedance rise. If you wired a half ohm in a car, you're going to be usually at like 1, 2 ohm, if not more. So you have to wire this amp into the dirt to get power out of it, it seems like. $92.66. So it's definitely not putting out the power. I think what tear amps did is like they made their 8K like a 12K and then just limited it. That way it puts out higher numbers down at 2 and 4 ohm. And it looks like this amp is probably just a 9K. That's why it drops so far down at 2 and 4 ohm. So the tear amps definitely does a lot better on the lower impedances. So that's the only thing I can think of. All right, so let's check out now dynamic at half ohm. Okay. See, 10,457. I believe my Smart 5 does that dynamically too. So it just seems like they did things a lot different than the Smart amps. I thought it was very similar, but apparently these amps are not the same. So this was a fun test because now we can see the difference between Stetsom, Smart, or Flex amps and tear amps. Well, let's go ahead and get the results chart up and go over everything that we've tested so far and check out the efficiency. And voila, here are all the final results. Little disappointing to say the least. The efficiency was decent, not spectacular, but it was good. You can see it almost reached 80% at 4 ohm uncertified. Power, it fell short everywhere except for the half ohm tests. So a little bit disappointed on this one, guys. Well, you guys will have to chime in and let me know what you think. But besides the kind of white, chalky finish, the scratches, the stripped terminals, and the lackluster power output at 2 and 4 ohm, I am not really too excited about this amp. I'm a little bit bummed out, but I definitely think Teramps is way better. And I hate to say that. I always hate to compare brands, but you know, the quality control on this amp wasn't very good, and I broke the seal out of it, even though it's not my amplifier. Um, and the power was just lackluster, so I really don't see any reason why someone would buy these over a Teramps. But I know some of you guys are going to hate me, but I have to be straight up. Most of the time when I dyno things, I get lucky and do reviews where most of it's pretty good. But this one kind of missed a lot of marks on a lot of areas, so unfortunately, I have to be real and do the review and mention this stuff to you guys if you're looking at buying one. So if you guys like the content, like and subscribe. Check out my new website, HiFiVector.com. I got bass knobs and amp cooling fans. And if you guys appreciate the content, definitely hit the like and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.